You did that $13,000 week. Be honest. How many hours do you think you worked that week?
Oh man, I think being on the phones alone, maybe 5 hours at most. Brandon. And that's why I'm so grateful for this. And I'm grateful that I never gave up, because had I given up, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
Today, I have Michelle joining me. And Michelle has a story that I think a lot of Asians, especially young mothers, are going to relate to. You see, before working at Blackrock, she was with an agency that didn't really have any systems. They didn't have a CRM or a clean process, and she was just calling clients from her personal cell phone. And it even got to the point where her personal cell phone number got marked as spam for phone calls. And that's a hard way to build. But you see, now she's working with our system, and she just had a week where she sold $13,298 worth of premium with 0 dials. And every agent can't do that. But it's a real example of what can happen when someone's willing to work and get plugged into better structure, better support, and a system that gives them a better chance at stability. You see, Michelle's a mom. She has a 3-year-old. Her husband's in the military, and she was a stay-at-home mom, but she recently put her child in daycare so that she can focus on working full-time selling life insurance. So I want to talk about that transition and the difference between having no system and having real support. So, Michelle, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Brandon. Like you said, it's stability, it's support. That's exactly what I was looking for. And the last agency that I was with, they didn't have that. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle. And I wanted to give up so many times because the system that they had in place wasn't working. Just dialing for hours all day long, hoping, crossing my fingers that, a client will pick up just to have a conversation, and having that conversation convert to a sell. It was a struggle. There were days that I wanted to break down and cry just because it wasn't working anymore. And then I was introduced to you and your company, and it's definitely changed my life and my family's life for sure. So I appreciate you so much.
Yeah, thank you. And we appreciate working with you. I mean, it's always great to have somebody that has a healthy mindset
Mhm.
and understands that if you put the work in, like even while you're juggling, I don't know if anybody else was able to hear this, but I heard your baby girl in the background a little bit, and that's okay. That's
Right.
fine. We're juggling. We all have families. I have 3 kids, right? And they're in the house all the time because we all work from home because we want
Mhm.
that flexibility.
Right.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about how you were calling clients, because you were calling them from your personal cell phone, and you had said that it even got marked as spam.
Yeah.
So, I mean, how easy was it for you to get marked as spam with your phone, and how frustrating was that process?
You, I can't even describe the frustration, honestly, because the agency that I was with, I brought it to their attention multiple times that, hey, dude, my CRM that you are providing to the company, it's not working. I can't call anybody. I can't set up a drip campaign. I can't text. Nothing is working. And so their solution was, hey, use your own phone, use your personal phone, buy another line, buy another phone. Okay, but how long is that going to last? I had to sit there and double, triple dial one client at a time. After 50 calls, my number would get marked as spam, and there goes my day. Like, what am I going to do for the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Go out, yeah, prospect, door knock. What can I do?
Right. Well, and if you have a little one at home, that's impossible,
Yeah,
right? What are you
take
going
her
to do?
on a
Start,
stroller.
yeah, knock on doors with her wrapped up right there? I mean, that just makes no
Yeah.
sense, right? So when you first came over to BlackRock, what do you think felt different first?
Just being able to be heard, first of all. Like, I sat there, had a conversation with you. I told you about what wasn't working for me, my concerns, and you gave me the support that I needed from day one. And it's been like that. You've been consistent. I have support, not just from you, but from other team members as well. If I can't get a hold of you, someone else was there for me. And I didn't
Yeah.
have that over there. I think
Yeah.
it's important for you to be with a team who wants to support you and see you grow.
Well, and we don't just rely on systems like Slack and get lazy with our help and support. So when you need us to call you, we call you. When you
Yeah.
need to call us, I pick up the phone. And if I can't pick up the phone right away, I call you back. Your mentors and the individuals in your team, same rules. We're talking to each other on our cell phones. We're talking to each other in real time, in real life, instead of
Right.
forcing everybody into a Discord or a Slack and saying that that's our culture, which
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really a big fan of that or the abuse of it.
Yeah.
Now, you just had a week where you sold 13,200 and I think I said 98 earlier, but it was $89, right? With zero dials. Not a single
Yeah.
phone call was made by you. So, walk us through what that week actually looked like.
Yeah. So, you know, I feel like with the system that you have in place for the agents now, it's freed up a lot of time. And I know you know that I should be working a lot more than I am now, but also because I haven't been working as much, I'm still making 50 times more the amount than what I was before with the last agency. And that's when you know there's a system in place that actually works. You're picking up the phone, you're staying on your computer, you're waiting
Mhm.
for someone to call in who actually wants a policy,
Yeah.
who's inquiring about, final expense coverage, but you're building a relationship with them and they're wanting a policy for their family members as well.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I guess that's a good question. So, how long do you have to wait whenever you're available on the system before you get a phone call from a client asking you for insurance?
it really depends on how many states you're licensed in. And I'm not licensed in a lot of states. So I think the longest that I've waited was 5 minutes. And
Yeah.
that's pretty quick, honestly.
Yeah, there's a lot of agencies and agents that are paying for leads from lead vendors and they're waiting hours, not
Yeah.
5 minutes on the long end, right?
Yeah.
So it means that you can focus at the task at hand. Now, whenever you did that $13,000 week, be honest, how many hours do you think you worked that week?
Oh man. I went out of town the very next day because that was planned. It wasn't because I went out of town to celebrate. It was already planned.
Yeah.
So in all honesty, just being on the phones, aside from working on other things, I think being on the phones alone, maybe 5 hours at most. Brandon.
Yeah. And so 5 hours, $13,000. Now, that's not normal. It doesn't happen all the
Yeah.
time. But I mean, do you really think, before you got into this, did you think that something like that was even possible?
No. And that's why I'm so grateful for this. And I'm grateful that I never gave up because had I given up, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now and see the potential.
Yeah, yeah, because you were somewhere else and we had no communication. You had no idea that something like this was out there. And you've had a feeling that something could have been better, but you could have just stayed there. You could have just stayed there and not believed us when we told you how it was. And then you wouldn't be looking back at the month and going, wow, for the amount of time I worked, look at how much money I made,
Yeah.
right?
And I'm just thinking, like, if I put in more hours, I can make way more, like 5 hours a day at the very least.
Please. Please. We would love that. We would love 5 hours a day from you. But you know what? You're also the mom with the 3-year-old baby, right?
Yeah.
Your husband, he's in the military. So you
Hmm.
need a little bit of flexibility with how you work. So, how has that shaped the way that you look at work and your schedule and flexibility overall?
I'm grateful. I'm grateful I'm not working for some big corporation. I have a 9 to 5 job. I actually can be there for my daughter, watch her grow, go do things with her, spend those milestones with her, and then be there for my husband as well. And still know that I'm making money. If I need to, I can just get on the phones and make a sale. It's that
Yeah.
easy with these inbound leads.
Yeah, I think how many hours you got one or two policies yesterday. How many hours were you logged in for that?
Um, I was having a little bit of computer issues, but
Yeah.
you know, I there was a little bit of frustration there, so I gave up a little bit, logged back on for maybe an hour, and I got a sale right away. That's how good the system is.
It's silly, isn't
There's
it? One
nothing
hour.
like it. Yeah,
Yeah, 1 hour, one sale right away.
right,
Now, you've also started breaking into more advanced markets
right.
and you're very interested in IULs. So,
Mhm.
what made you want to grow beyond just the basic sale and only doing final expense with us? Because we offer those products.
Yeah. Um, for me, it's just I'm always about growth and learning and doing more. So if I can meet with a client who has referrals for me from maybe younger clients, I can help them, build generational wealth, find a way for retirement income, set up an educational fund for their kids. Um, there's just so much to do with this industry, and it's not just about, hey, get a policy in case someone dies. It's not about that. You can get a policy on yourself to protect you and your family if something happens while you are alive.
Yeah. So, let's kind of shift gears and talk a little bit more about those advanced markets and advanced
Yeah.
clients. So, you and I were having a conversation just the other day, and there's a client that owns a business, and you got in contact with him through our system. So,
Yes.
you ended up placing a very large policy with him. We don't really need to talk about the particulars of that. But then you started talking about the entirety of his company and
Mhm.
his secretary and his son in law. And then you were talking about employee benefits packages. And that
Mhm.
all came from one call on our system.
Yeah.
So, can you kind of talk about the support that you, without having any experience in that area, with a very large case in the tune of maybe potentially a few $100,000 of AP from one call?
Yeah.
Talk about the support and the structure that we've been talking about on how you're going to move forward. How has that process gone?
I've been in contact with that client probably every other day now, just because you want to build that relationship. You have a big client now. You don't want the unexpected to happen, right? You want to
Yeah.
make sure you build that relationship and not just make it look like you're desperate for sales because you're not. You want to make sure that his family's protected, his clients are protected. And so we've talked about possible employee benefits if they needed something. Who's the key employer for your firm? Um, what's going to happen if something happens to you? Who's going to take over? Let's get something in place for that. Protect them with that. There's a benefit that you could do for your managers. And so we're still in the process of putting some things together. But I have high hopes that he's going to be a long term client. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
And one thing to remember, which is what we talked about, right? Whenever you're working with a high level client, not just a regular run of the mill client, someone that has a lot of money, they have a lot of assets, they have a team that they're taking care of, and a lot of people that depend on them. We have to remember that their time comes at a premium, and the
Mhm.
relationship is key. Relationship and convenience. And that was just part of the coaching that we talked about, right? So you're keeping the relationship by staying in communication with him
Mhm.
while also setting up the plans to efficiently work with him and
Right.
not treating that conversation or relationship as transactional.
Right.
Because higher level individuals, people that make a lot of money, they do want transactions for certain things. But when it comes to a healthy small business to small business relationship, that's what it needs to be, a
Mhm.
healthy relationship. So, if another mom is watching this and maybe she's wondering if she can really do it because she's got a million things on her plate, clearly, what would you tell her?
Go for it. I think the biggest concern that moms have is putting another thing on their plate, having to take care of the kids, the household, just everything going on. Let them know that they can absolutely do this and they have the support that they need. They're going to have flexibility. They don't have to worry about taking time away with their family. You can just hop on, hop off, make a call whenever it's convenient for you and be able to make money instead of going out there and trying to sell your stuff to see if you can bring in some income. Because I've seen families do that because
Yeah.
moms can't find a 9 to 5 job all the time.
And whenever it comes to us and our relationship and how we as an agency have treated you, have we made that easy? I know we joke about it, but have we made it easy or have we put anything in the way to stop you from having that flexibility?
Oh, it's been so easy. And I we joke about it all the time. I feel like
Yeah.
sometimes it's too easy, and I'm glad I have you as a mentor because you do give me that push, that reminder, but even when big moments and celebrations happen, you always remind me to also be humble about it.
Yes, absolutely. Because it doesn't matter how much money we make, it's how we react to it,
Right.
right? And a lot of the individuals, so we have trainers making $400,000 a year. Everyone here has to stay humble because
Mhm.
as soon as we start drifting away from where we started and we start getting big fat heads and we start getting
Mhm.
lifestyle creep, that's whenever everything falls apart.
Right.
We have to remember the goal. We have to remember the mission. We have to work towards that.
Mhm.
So if an agent is stuck somewhere with no systems, no CRMs, and no real support, what do you want them to understand?
You know, I would ask him, "What is it that's not working? Why are you still there? If you don't make a change, then change isn't going to happen." And I will tell them my story about how I went through the same thing that they are going through, and I'll point them in the right direction.
I love that. So to close out, I have another question for you. What are you most excited about building next?
Um, I want to say a team, but I think I'm more focused on my production, growing, learning more with this industry, and like you mentioned, advanced markets. I want to be able to tackle that and then grow a team, because in order for me to have a team, I need to see my productions growing as well.
Yes, absolutely. Because whenever you're first starting out in the industry and in leadership in the industry, there's a saying that I have, which is proof is in the production.
Mm.
Proof is in the production. If you can't produce on a stable basis consistently, if you can't keep showing up consistently, how would you expect that you're going to do that for somebody that's getting started? How can you consistently show up for them when you can't consistently show up for yourself?
Right.
And the leadership discussion is something that happens over time with trust and responsibility. It's
Mhm.
not something that we open up with a brand new agent because I've had hundreds of agents ask me if they can sign on and then I would just start recruiting for them. And it doesn't make any sense. Why does someone get to stick their hand up and say, I deserve this, I'm worthy, give them to me, when they don't understand how to do the job to begin with, when they
Right.
can't follow up efficiently with their clients and their own best interests, and they can't pour into others because there isn't enough in their cup to even pour? So, Michelle, I appreciate you sharing all of this with us and with all of our audience.
Yeah.
So, I think your story matters because a lot of agents are trying to build in environments that are making the business harder than it needs to be because they're not putting systems in place, they're not supporting their teams, and they're not providing the structure around the work to make your job easier. Then agents start wondering if they're the problem instead of where they are. Sometimes they aren't. Sometimes they just need a better environment. And here at BlackRock Insurance Group, we're focused on support, structure, real systems, and helping agents develop into bigger opportunities. Sometimes, hopefully, bigger paychecks, but only if they're ready to do the work. And Michelle's story is a great example of that. She's a mother. She comes from a military family, and she's someone that's building while managing a real life. And now having a $13,000 week with $0 on our system. It's not a promise for everybody. It's a real example. And if you're an insurance agent looking for better support, better structure, and a system that gives your effort a better chance, a real advantage, reach out to us at blackrockins.com. That's blackrockins.com. And we can see if BlackRock is the right fit.